The federal government is set to introduce tuition fees in federal universities, polytechnics, and other tertiary institutions following the signing of the student loan by Tinubu, Daily Trust reports. The bill, which is now an act of parliament, was signed on Monday, a development widely celebrated in many quarters without understanding the implication of the new law for the millions of prospective students who rely on tuition fee higher institutions of learning to acquire knowledge. Educationists and other stakeholders say this will have wider implications. In Nigeria, tuition, which runs into hundreds of thousands of naira or even millions of naira in private universities, is free in government school at both national and state levels. The situation has been the same since independence, even though some charges for other issues such as accommodation, departmental and course registration, among others, vary from one institution to another. The waiver of tuition has given millions of students the opportunity to go to school, but observers say the introduction of a student loan scheme by the federal government means an end to tuition-free education. There was no immediate response from the Federal Ministry of Education. What the law says, Clause 3 of the Student Loan Act says the loans referred to in this act shall be granted to students only for the payment of tuition fees. This clause contravenes the existing provision that says tuition is free in public institutions. Meanwhile, the question of tuition in Nigeria institution is a constitutional matter via Chapter 2 of the amended 1999 Constitution. By the provisions of that chapter, no publicly owned institution is permitted, and it is illegal for any one of them to charge tuition fees on any citizens of the country. According to the act establishing the law, the student loan loan bid would provide easy access to higher education for indigent Nigerians through interest-free loans from the Nigeria Education Loan Fund. As enacted by the act shall apply to all matters pertaining to the application and grants of loans to Nigerians seeking higher education into institutions of higher learning in Nigeria through the Nigeria Education Loan Fund. All students seeking higher education in any public institution of higher learning in Nigeria shall have equal rights to access the loan under this act without any discrimination arising from gender, religion, tribe, position, or disability or any kind, the act says. It however noted that the grants of the loan to any students under the act shall be subject to the applicant satisfying the requirements and conditions set out under this act. The president of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Professor Emmanuel Osadeke, he said the bill is not new as it has been on for a long time. He said a country where more than 133 millions are living below the poverty line and you want to introduce tuition fees, it will be counterproductive. Every Nigerian should know what is going to happen next, and there may likely be another bill waiting for signature that will introduce tuition fees if the bill indicated that the loan is to pay tuition fees and there are no tuition fees in Nigeria universities. Then what is your next approach, he asks. He however noted that the union is yet to have access to the accurate copy and that they needed to get it and study it. We have said long ago in 2017 to President Buhari, when they came up with the issue of tuition fees, that every student will pay 1 million naira, and we said you cannot put that in our agreements and you cannot use that to negotiate with us and with the nature of the country we have today. There's no way that will work. What will happen is that the majority of students whose parents cannot afford it will pull out of school in anger, and you know what that means. They will fight the society back. But let us get the correct information first before knowing the next steps, he added. A professor at the University of Abuja, Ben Ugoke, said, going by the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, no public institution pays tuition fees. That is, all public institutions in Nigeria are tuition free. However, due to the underfunding, the governing council or boards of these public institutions are permitted by the laws establishing the institutions to determine students should pay to cover specific costs. The bill signed into law does not abrogate the various acts of the National Assembly establishing the public institution, which enable them to levy students appropriately. The new Student Loan Act did not in any way abolish the current or future regime of charging students of public institutions in Nigeria currently pay. Let me hazard a guess that the new act has laid a formal basis for the various governing organs of the public institutions in Nigeria to levy higher charges on students, he said. According to him, to the naive, it means relief, but to my mind, I think it means higher charges are on the horizon for students. For Professor Nasiru Medugu Idris of Nasarawa State University, Kefi, tuition fees will remain the same or even higher. This is because the student's loan will strictly be for the purpose of tuition fees. So no abolition of tuition fees in Nigeria University. He said parents might think that it is a kind of relief for them, but actually this is not, because students' living expenses per semester are very huge. Schools tuition fee may be 10 to 20% of students' expenditure per semester. Therefore, parents and students should not celebrate the signing of the act for now until they have accessed the loan first, he said. Meanwhile, when Daily Trust contacted the Federal Ministry of Education to clarity Clause 3 of the Act via a text message to the Permanent Secretary David Adejo through the Director of Press Ben Gong, the director said the ministry will address a press conference on Wednesday to clarify all issues and as such had no comments. What I find funny with ASU is that they are not bothered about tuition fees in primary and secondary school, but they keep making noise about tuition fee at tertiary. Everybody cannot attend university and tertiary education is not a guarantee of success in life. If introducing tuition fees will guarantee that no strike and qualified education or quality education for those that are lucky to attend tertiary institutions, so be it. So are they in charge of the primary and secondary? You are just too self-centered. What benefits an average Nigerian man gets from his government if his children are denied of tertiary education? What have the university been charging before? That's the question.